Alright, what's going on, guys? TREV back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the 13th episode for The Walking Dead Season 8. In this one first, we're going to give our thoughts on this new appearance of this new character, Georgie, whether or not we think she may be from the Commonwealth. And spoiler warning, as per usual, if you guys have not seen episode 12 yet for The Walking Dead Season 8, amazing episode. Have done lots of videos on it already. Did a review for it last night. I'll have it in the end screen videos for you guys here after you're done watching this one. Did a prediction video for what we think is going to happen in episode 13, which is, of course, coming up next weekend. Did a reaction after seeing episode 12. Death predictions on who we think will be killed off in this finale, because we're down to our last quarter. Only 4 episodes left, so definitely check out the Death Predictions video if you guys haven't seen that one. And also, The Walking Dead is back, proclaiming that The Walking Dead is kind of back to its, former glory, or at least it's a step in the right direction. I feel like after episode 12 was a nice shot in the arm for The Walking Dead, really getting it back on track and restoring some of that fun factor that we haven't seen in The Walking Dead maybe for quite some time. So this one is an interesting one. I'll put the link in the description to comicbook.com so you guys can check this one out. And it is The Walking Dead. Who is Georgie? So who is this Georgie character that seems to come seemingly out of absolutely nowhere in The Walking Dead Season 8? And also, it's like the strangest time to have a character first appearance. It's totally like right in the heat of battle, right when you have Rick and Negan going at it for supremacy, and who's going to survive in one of the most intense and exciting action sequences in the entire show. And out of nowhere, we see this Georgie lady come up with 2 people. And it's like, what is this? So during Maggie, Michonne, and Enid's trip around the outskirts of the hilltop, they encounter a van with 2 guards and a well-dressed woman. The woman revealed herself to be named Georgie, making her a character unique to the Walking Dead TV series, but bearing a striking resemblance to a character from Robert Kirkman's comic book series, who actually has just shown up, which is Pamela Milton, Governor Milton of the Commonwealth. So we're literally just meeting the Commonwealth in the Walking Dead comic book series right now. To see a character come into the Walking Dead Season 8 that literally is just being introduced in the Walking Dead comic book series is really weird. And in terms of when they were writing it, they would have had to have some insight from Kirkman if they were going to do that, because when they were writing this episode 12, that issue of The Walking Dead was not out yet. So that character was not in the Walking Dead comic book series up until, like a couple months ago. So literally, they would have had to have the inside track on this and compare notes with Kirkman for what he's going to bring in, and bring in this character early if she is, in fact, some kind of leader or politician in the Commonwealth. So are we getting to the Commonwealth, sooner rather than later? Is it strange that they're introducing the Commonwealth before the Whisperers? It's very intriguing. It's very different from what you would expect, and it certainly is not the time that you would expect to see a new character's first appearance in The Walking Dead during such a pivotal moment, such a climactic fight between Rick and Negan. It says the character played by Jane Atkinson presents The Walking Dead with an opportunity to grow beyond the confines of the Sanctuary, Hilltop, Alexandria, and Kingdom communities in a major way. There hasn't been a person like her, Atkinson told comicbook.com. She's not dirty. You can tell she's very educated. She's very unafraid, and there's a strange sort of light and innocence to her. She's not childlike in any way, but she's just open and not afraid. And it says here, one thing is for sure, though, Georgie and her bodyguards come from a community which is well off. Like the early characters in Alexandria, Georgie hasn't been exposed to the treachery of the apocalypse as Rick Grimes and company have. So it says here, wherever she's from and however things happened, she has not been touched physically in the way that everyone else has, Atkinson said. So I wouldn't say psychologically she hasn't, but however, she has come out of this more than just surviving. So she's actually done well. So that really sounds a lot, with her to say that, that really sounds a lot like something in the Commonwealth you would see, where you have this group that they're not just surviving, but they're actually thriving. They're doing really, really well in the zombie apocalypse, and that's very It's just a really strange concept. It was strange in the Walking Dead comic book series. It's strange in the Walking Dead TV series because even, especially right now, you're seeing two leaders of these groups fight to the death. Flaming bad and zombies everywhere and hitting each other with the cars and shooting at each other and wanting to kill each other and just go crazy on each other. And then you have this lady that looks like she's works at a library or something. It just doesn't seem to fit. It's like something's out of place here. You guys remember those games when you were a kid? Like which one doesn't fit? And you have like a whole bunch of numbers or something, and then you have some object or something that's just totally out of place. And she is certainly that, I think, in this episode. Then it says here, they keep everything very close to the chest. Scott keeps everything close to the chest, Atkins has said, and so basically, when I spoke to him, he gave me a quiet, quiet, she's saying, not quick, I thought she was going to say quick, quiet overview of the kind of person she was, but no backstory, no front story, but he gave me enough to create, I think, a very dynamic and interesting person, and of course, the way it was written. And that's all we have right now from the actress who plays Georgie and what we can kind of read into from that. So do we think she's from the Commonwealth? It just feels so weird, but she does look quite a bit different from the Commonwealth as well, too, because from the Commonwealth, you generally have a military force that is very well outfitted. They come and they usually have, like in the comic book series, we see them, they look like freaking stormtroopers of the zombie apocalypse. They're like armored from head to toe. They have assault rifles with like bayonet blades on the end, like knives. They have, throwing axes. They have all these crazy, just totally decked out in terms of armor. Like for a zombie to kill one of them would be very, very difficult because they are totally covered in body armor pretty much all the way through, and they have strategies on how to kill walkers. They have like a back and forth type of strategy they use as they're kind of backing up when a swarm or herd is coming in. They can kind of kill them off in sections and stuff, and they have like communication, everything. They're very advanced compared to what we're used to seeing in The Walking Dead. So this doesn't, even though she does look a lot like Pamela, and I would say that maybe she could be. She does seem like she's maybe like a politician like Deanna or something like that. She seems like she could be something like that. The people she's with don't look like it. They certainly don't look like what you'd expect to see. Also, the other thing I have a problem with, too, in this one is that if it was going to be somebody like Pamela going out and meeting with groups, I would think that she would send an underling. She probably would not go out herself because Pamela in the Walking Dead comic book series, one of the leaders of the Commonwealth, there's 50,000 people in the Commonwealth in the comic book series, at least so far as what we've been told. So within the comic book series, with her to kind of go out there and do that, it's like you have 50,000 people. You could get any of them, you're in charge, you could get any of them to go out and recruit and meet groups and deliver them with information to rebuild and then eventually assimilate them into your group. You have the ability to do this. Why would you go out yourself and do this? Why would you do that? You would send somebody to do it, unless this is like an earlier version of the Commonwealth, and what she's doing is basically finding larger groups, going and giving them a booklet specifically designed and tailored, a key to what they're going to need to know how to do to survive in the zombie apocalypse, a cheat sheet, if you will. And then later on, she comes back to them and asks them to join. That could be a possibility on how they got 50,000 members to join the Commonwealth. Could be you go to the bigger communities, you forget the little single people or a dozen or less. You go to communities with like 50 to 100 or more people, and you give them something, you give them a gift. In return, eventually you come back, you see if they're able to survive, if they're good people, and then eventually you let them join. Then you could have hundreds of people joining at a time and serving a purpose and everything. So it could be the start of the Commonwealth in the Walking Dead television series. It's just so early, to see them, because they literally just came in the Walking Dead comic book series, that I tend to think this is probably a new group that is unaffiliated or not something we've seen in the Walking Dead comic book series. This is like a new group, like Jadis and the Junkyard Group, which did not exist in the comics. Something new that we haven't seen yet. So you guys can certainly write your comments below. Let me know what you think. Do you think that Georgie is our Pamela from the Commonwealth, or maybe another character from the Commonwealth? Or do you think that she's a character from a new group, a totally different group? And, do you think she's Commonwealth or not? And what can you read into this? What do you think of this? And how do you feel about the character in the series? To me, she feels totally out of place. and almost unrealistic that you'd see a character like that. But hey, I don't know. You can't read into it too much when we don't know the backstory. It's like we don't know enough to really judge it too much right now. So rate your comments below for that one, guys, and let's get into some of your other Q&A questions. So Max Insanity left his opinion. He said, TREV Q A Do. Do you think that annoying lady from this episode could be from the Commonwealth, even though this would be way too early to introduce them? But there has been rumors that maybe they'll skip the Whisperers, which I really hope they don't, because the Whisperers are fantastic. But who knows, man? If they were going to do that, then... geez, I don't know. I guess it wouldn't be early at all. It'd be like, yeah, that's if you're going to skip the Whispers, that's what you do. But I really hope they don't skip the Whispers. And so I guess what I'm saying is I hope it is too early, but it could be one of those things where Scott Gimple is so good that he brings in this concept now. She appears, she's gone, you forget all about her. 2 or 3 years later, all of a sudden she reappears, and everyone's like, oh, wow. Okay, I remember that from season 8. So that's possible if they do it that way, where she's gone for 2 seasons and then eventually comes back. I think that could work out really well if it is Commonwealth. Otherwise, maybe we'll see more from her and her group next year in season 9. We'll see. Lieutenant Roberta Warren, must like Z Nation here, username, can't help but thinking, do they really need the key? All the libraries and colleges and universities didn't go away. Knowledge about medieval technology and creating infrastructure shouldn't have been hard to come by. And yeah, that's probably true as well. That's something that I also thought was kind of like, is that something Eugene couldn't figure out? But here's one thing. If Eugene is killed off this season, then this would come in handy, right? Because, if he's still alive, then you just say, well, Eugene figured out how to do all this stuff, and that's what it is. But basically, the key has been given to them. They've been given what it is to succeed, to rebuild and everything. So do they really, it'd be easy after that when someone's actually, hand giving it to you. So I guess it is a good thing to give. It's just knowledge, right? It's something so strange to the Ty Lopez commercial, right? It's like, what? Like, I don't know, man. I guess maybe one of the writers was watching YouTube too much or something and started to see some knowledge commercials. So she's peddling knowledge. That's what she's doing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to say about it. It's like, do they really need that? I agree with you, Roberta Warren, or username, or whoever uses that name, Z Nation name. It's like, do they really even need that anyway? It's like, couldn't they kind of figure that out naturally with a time skip as it is? I would think so. I mean, you don't have to explain everything, right? So we can kind of fill in the blanks that eventually they would know how to build. They'd figure out how to build stuff. It's just, if they have a couple years with no war and no groups attacking them, I would think that's probably what they would do anyway. It's kind of like, it's just very, very strange, man. Unless they're planning an Easter egg right now or a seed right now to come back to, in a couple years with her showing up with the Commonwealth or something. I don't know. Rick versus Negan scenes are just too damn good, said Eggy, and I absolutely agree 100%. For sure. Trebecca's Finest said, do I think the new group of people could be the beginning of the Commonwealth? Would love to hear your thoughts, Trev. Well, like I said, if it is the beginning, it's just kind of a place in now, and then eventually they'll probably come back to it later. But it's very odd. It's very strange to me, and I don't really see why they did it, but we can't judge because we haven't been given enough to judge. We'll have to see what they do with it in the future. And a lot of the times, like this episode here, episode 12, they strayed away from the comics a lot, and it was fantastic. I mean, it was excellent. Get to see Rick pick up Lucille and everything. That was awesome. So them sticking so close to the comics is not always a good thing. Sometimes they get some great ideas, they go with it, and we get to see episodes like episode 12 or Jadis and her getting involved. That was awesome too. So quite the twist there at the end. Unexpected for anybody, be it a comic book reader or else otherwise, anyone. You wouldn't have guessed that at all, right? So it's what it is. Cool. And then the last one will be from Zach Clanton, who says, this episode was pathetic. The filming was terrible, and the action looked poorly choreographed. LOL. This was so hard to watch. I can't believe people. So that's from Zach Clanton. So I guess not everybody liked the episode. Still, no matter what, as good as episode 12 was, at least I loved episode 12. So not everybody did, but that's cool too. Not everybody's gonna like every episode. For me, as a fan of Negan and a fan of Rick, getting to see old school Rick back again like that, going after Negan with ruthless, trying to get vengeance for Carl in some way, displacement vengeance, but going after him, ready to just kill him because of what's happened with Carl before. He's just so out of it. Negan's patrolling him, and he sees him, and he's like, I'm gonna go for him. It was awesome. It was awesome. So let me know what you guys think. That'll be the topic for this one, though. Mainly in this video, leave a comment. What you think about Georgie? What you think about the Commonwealth? Are we seeing the Commonwealth? Is it somebody else entirely? Where are you guys at with this one? Maybe I'll add a poll so you guys can click that there to kind of vote. Is it Commonwealth or is it not Commonwealth? Let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, please thumb it up below, vote in the poll, and share, favorite. If you're new and you want to subscribe to the bottom left. I'll have another video, guys, for you tomorrow, most likely. So for this one, see you guys again tomorrow. It's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.